All right. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Accenture webinar on building low-code, no-code apps using the Microsoft Power Platform. So, my name is Rose Ferrer. I am an associate manager from Accenture, Philippines. This session will be recorded. If you feel uncomfortable being included in the recording, you may drop off from this call. You may also post your questions anytime in the chat window found in the right hand of the screen. Should you want to post anonymously, just tick the post as anonymous in the box found below. So let's start. So let me just move to the agenda for tonight. So today, I will be discussing what low code, no code is, and will be providing a quick overview on Power Platform, focusing more on Power Apps. I'll be demonstrating how quickly we can create an application and will also present Microsoft's created crisis communications app, which is widely needed during this COVID-19 pandemic. All right. So, what is low code, no code development? It is a visual development approach for applications. So, it enables users to create applications for web, for mobile, or for tablet using a drag and drop components through a graphical user interface. So, we have several benefits for the low code, no code development. So, we have accelerated software delivery by quickly building apps, higher productivity, better user experience, and decreased costs. Right? Microsoft Power Platform is a system that can help users drive business by enabling them into four key actions. So we have the first one, gain data-driven insights with Power BI. We have the drive intelligent business processes via apps with Power Apps, automate processes with Power Automate, and engage conversationally with your customers using chatbots with Power Virtual Agents. But for tonight, I will be focusing more on Power Apps. So with Power Apps, Microsoft has provided a platform to create custom applications. So we can create one for mobile, we can create for desktop or for your tablet. So it requires no heavy coding or experience. You can develop them to meet a variety of internal needs. Similarly, if you have an existing data sources, you can actually connect it directly to the Power Apps application. So Power Apps is a high productivity development platform for business apps, and it has three types. So the first one is the Canvas app. Canvas app is a visual canvas to help you design and build applications and provides a comfortable environment to create what you need. So rather than using complicated coding or programming tools, you just need to create an app via dragging and dropping various elements into your canvas. So imagine that before it requires us typing in a lot of codes. Right now, you just need to drag and drop them into your canvas and then eventually build an application from there. All throughout, you can format the right conditions and settings that are needed to make your application work. So the next type for the Power Apps is the model-driven app. It can be a backend to the Canvas app. So one of the core benefits of model-driven apps is their ability to generate data models. So model-driven app automatically generate UI that is responsive across different devices. So it is responsive in your mobile, in your tablet, or your desktop applications. So the last one is the portal. So using Power Apps Portal, we have the ability to build low-code responsive websites, which allows external users outside your organization to interact with the data stored in our common data service. So we use the powerful no-code portal designer to create and manage website contents like, for example, web pages, sitemaps, templates to build the websites. So for tonight, we will be creating a Canvas application and I will be presenting one of the Microsoft template for the Canvas application as well. So today we will be creating a tic-tac-toe game using Canvas app. So it will take around 10 to 15 minutes to do that. But before that, we will need to have a Power Platform environment. So to create a Power Platform trial environment, you can access the link provided in the slide. And once you click that, it will be redirected to the registration page as shown here. So you may put in your email addresses and start creating an environment from there. So once we have the account set up, for example, you've already created your trial account. So you just need to go to the make.powerapps.com to manage and set up your Power Platform environment. This is also where the apps are managed and templates are actually selected. I will show it to you shortly. Let me just unshare my slides and then we'll share my desktop. Okay. All right. So this is the make.powerapps.com site. Let me just close this. All right. In here, you can actually manage your environment. So the environment is located here. So you can select your environment or the environment that you will be using to create your application. We have the different sections here. You can select the different templates that are readily available by Microsoft. So we have some leave request, meeting content. We also have help desk available here. It will also display the different apps that you have for your environment and also the data here. So all the data sources are also included here, or your common data service is included here. So all your entities will be shown in this website as well. So before we start creating the application, let me just show you the artifacts that I have initially prepared in order for us to create the tic-tac-toe game. Okay. So these are my artifacts. So we have three images. So we have the image grid, the image O, and also the image X. And we also have an Excel spreadsheet created. Let me just open it. Okay. So imagine that these rows here in my Excel spreadsheet corresponds to the grids that we have in this image grid. So the state column here will contain the value of either image X or image O, which will be shown later once we proceed on creating the application. So let me just close this Excel and then let's move on to the website. Okay. So for this presentation, we will be using a Canvas app from blank, and then I'll be using a tablet layout. So let's name this as tic-tac-toe. So once you click on create, it will redirect you to the create.powerapps.com. So the create.powerapps.com is the Canvas app studio where we edit and build the different applications. So let's just wait until it's loaded. Okay. I'm sorry it's taking long. It's due to my internet connection right now. I think I'm having some network issues. Okay. Let me try to refresh this first. All right. All right. So sorry for that. Let's move on to creating the application. So first off, let's bring in all the images that I've shown earlier. So the three images. To do that, let's navigate to File, Media, then Images, and then click Browse. Wait. Okay, Browse. And then just navigate to the folder where you saved all the images. So right now it's in my TikTok folder. So let's just select all three images and then click on Open. And then let's wait until all the images are loaded. Okay. So after that, we will need to create a data source linking to the Excel spreadsheet that I've shown earlier. So for us to do that, let's just go to the data sources here. So just an FYI to everybody. So Power Apps can actually connect to several data sources. So that includes SharePoint, OneDrive, Outlook. So it's available here. You can choose your different connectors through this. But for this presentation, we will be using Excel. So let's type in Excel and then choose the location of the Excel spreadsheet, which is here in Tic-Tac-Toe. Let's just select grid cells and then click on Open. And then once you click that open, it will actually ask you to choose a table. So for this spreadsheet, I only have one table, but there may be instances or your data sources may contain several tables. So just click on connect. All right. Now that we're connected to our data source, so the next thing we'll need to do is let's just put in a reset game button to clear up the tic-tac-toe game that we have. So let's insert a button. Then let's rename it to reset game. Then let's select the on select property to clear collect that my game, which is a collection that I will be using for this game. So collections are just an array to store into a memory for the on the power ups. And then let's select the data that we will store in the collection. So earlier we've imported the spreadsheet. I think the table name is grid cells. So let's put in grid cells. So the formula here is actually similar to Excel. So if you are familiar with Excel formulas, you should be doing the same or similar formulas as well in Power Apps. All right, so let's move this first at the side. Then let's try to run the button so that our collection will be created. The My Game collection will be created. Okay. So to verify that we were able to successfully create the collection in our game, just go to File, Collections, and then you should see here in My Game the data that we have in Excel. Right. So it's already loaded. Okay. The next thing we need to do is to add in the image grid that I've shown earlier. So let's start with adding an image and let's set this to image grid. Okay, let's just move it in here first. So next, we will need to add a horizontal gallery wherein the data source will be pointed to the collection that we have created earlier. So let's select a horizontal gallery and then let's point that to my game collection. So let's just wait. Okay, my game. All right. So all the data from the my game is already showed here in the horizontal gallery. This gallery look like a grid similar to this one. So to do that, let's first adjust the size. Then let's adjust the wrap count so that the data shown will be equal to 3. All right. Then let's move the titles at the topmost area. So just select the title or you can actually select it from the tree view. So the tree view will contain all of the components or all of the components that you have created earlier. So for example, we have the gallery, the image that I just added, and also the button that I have created as well. So you can actually rename this to whatever naming convention you have, but for now, let's just leave it as is. So let's select the title. So I want to put this at the topmost area on my gallery. So let's just adjust the height. So Y, let's set this to 10. Okay. All right. Let me just adjust this first. Mm, okay. So the next thing to do is let's add a border so that we'll know how it looks like or we'll know if it will look like the grid layout that we have here. So let's just add a border. Let's set this to 2. Okay. Then let's adjust it. So that it will fit all the 9 grids or 9 cells will fit into our screen. So let's see. Yep, I think it's fit now. All right. So the next thing to do is let's set this image into the state column that we have earlier. So the one that I've shown in Excel. So we have the state column. So let's set this one to that. So to do that, let's set the image property to this item dot state. Okay. So as you can see, we can now see that these grids or these cells are similar to the grid that we have here. So I will be adjusting this grid as well, this image as well later on. But before we do that, let's just proceed on the other activities first. So the next thing we need to do is to put on an image that will contain our global variable to set either the value of x or the value of o. So let's put in an image and set this to a global variable. So let's say global variable state. And then let's just move it here. Okay. Then we will be adding a button to assign the value for the global variable. So we will set it to either image X or to image O. So let's add a button. Then let's start first with image X. So set X. And then let's set the onSelect property to set the value for the global state. So for the global variable GB state, so GB state equals to image X. You can actually try to test this if it's actually working. So to do that, let's click on the preview button and then let's set X. There you go. So we need to do the same for the circle or for the own image. So let me just copy this button instead of just creating another one. So set and then rename it to set O. And then let's set this to image O instead. So you can test it again if you want. So let's just try it. Okay. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is to patch the game or to modify the records that we have for the state. So to do that, let's just select the image from the gallery. And then let's set the onSelect property. OnSelect, okay. To patch. Let's see. Patch our source, which is the My Game collection. And then the record that we will be updating. So we will be updating the first record or the first selected record. So let's just look for the selected record via filter. And then My Game. Sorry. And then let's set which record we will assign it to. So it's the state. Will have the value of the global variable GV state. Right. Okay, so let's try to test if this will work. So let's click on the play button again, and then let's try to set it on X first, and then click on this one. All right, and all right. So instead of us clicking O and then clicking this one, let me just try to include an if statement, a logical statement to either select X if in case the value is already O and then select O. So let me just add in an if statement here. So if, let's say, GV is equals to image X already. Then we can set the value to say GV state age O. Okay. And then let's set the value to GV state image X. Right. So let's try it out first again. Let's say play. Let me just reset the game or clear up the game. And let's set it to X. All right. So it's already working. So the remaining item that we need to do is just let's just move this grid here so that we can display the grid layout of a tic-tac-toe game. Just move it here. You can adjust um, in whatever position you want. So let's see. I think that should be okay. And then let's just remove the items that are really not needed for this on this layout. So first, we don't need the subtitle, so let's remove that. We can also remove the title since we don't really need that. And then for the image, since we're already done and we already know that it's already on the correct format or on the correct layout, we can remove the borders that we have initially selected or initially added. All right, and then let's test this one out again and see. Okay. Yep. So this application can actually be launched through your desktop, which is what I am showing right now. So I can launch it through my desktop. But you can also open this up into your mobile or your tablet application. So you can directly access it via a URL, or you can install a Power Apps application similar to what I have here right now in my desktop. So this is a Power Apps, and I have initially created an application earlier. So this is should what it should look like once we publish the application. So let's try this one now. So set X. All right. All right, so that's it. So after a few minutes, you were able to create a tic-tac-toe game with just a few clicks on the mouse, and the formulas here are similar to what we have in Excel. So let's go back to the slide or the presentation that I have. Just go here. All right. So going back to our slides, so earlier I presented you how we can easily create an application using Canvas app. So for now, let's move on to a more serious and more powerful application. So the Crisis Communications app is a template Canvas app created by Microsoft. So the reason they created this app is due to the growing crisis caused by by the COVID-19 pandemic. So the one that we're um, having right now. So this app actually helps the organizations quickly disseminate information across their resources. So as well as to keep track on the work status of their employees as well. So the Microsoft team was able to deliver the first version quickly in just around 48 hours. So imagine that before, without the Power Apps application or without the Power Platform, the programmers or the software developers needs quite a few time or several time or and several effort to create an application. So right now, what you need to do is just merely dragging and dropping components, and the formulas are the same on the Excel spreadsheet that we have been using since I think it's a few years for a long time now. So to further know about the application, you can browse through the link here. So let's just open that one. So it's in here. So all the details are included here, and Microsoft actually provided a very detailed instructions on how you can implement the application into your own trial environment. So it's a step by step and very detailed, and they also have a video showing you on how to do that. So you can follow through it as well. Okay, so let's move on to showing you the crisis communications app that they have created. So I have it here open. So this is the crisis communication app. So this application is actually responsive to any devices that you are using. So you can use it in your desktop, your mobile, or your tablet application. So to show you that it is responsive, let me just adjust my screen here. So as you can see, once my browser is smaller, it actually followed the size of my browser as well. Aside from that, this crisis communication app can also be deployed into your Teams application. So if you are using Microsoft Teams, you can actually deploy that to the Teams application. So in our trial environment, I have deployed it here in crisis communication team, and then I've added a tab. But aside from a tab, you can also show it from here if you want to. So let me just show you. All right. So let's go back to the crisis communications application. So first, let me show you the share status button. So the share status buttons allows employees to inform their leads or their managers on their whereabouts for the day or the next days. So for example, you will be working from home, working from office, client site, or you will be out of the office. You can select from the different buttons here. This is fully customizable. So you can add or change the different buttons here as well. So let's try to select work from home. And then let's select the date today. Let's say I'll be working from the 19th until Friday this week. So let's select them. So just click on submit. Okay. So once you submit that, there is an email that you will receive informing you of your selection. And also the same email will be received by your admin or by the admin of the application. So let me just show you the email. Let me just pin this here. There you go. So this is the email that you will be receiving as well. So the email template can also be customized to whatever you want. So right now we've set it to these values. So the next thing that you can do is to share your status across the different teams that you have in your organization. So for now, for this testing environment, I've set, let's say I want to inform myself, and let's say HR3, for example, and then just click on share, or you can skip if you don't want to share status to anyone else or to any other teams. And then the application will also allow you to update your auto reply, your automatic replies. So for example, you were out of the office and you want to inform your HR, your advice, your leads, your managers, you can easily do that here. So you can set the auto reply for your organization and also outside your organization. So just click on submit. So you do not need to go to the Outlook application just to set the automatic replies. You can do it here in the application itself. So to verify that, let's just try to see the settings here and let's verify if the automatic replies have been set. Yep. So it's already set. And as you can see, sorry, let me just refresh this. Okay, let's go to the settings again. And then let's check the automatic replies. All right. As you can see, the automatic reply has been turned on, and also the one that we've indicated earlier is also included here, including those outside your organization. So this has been set up as well. So let's just turn this off first. Okay. So that's for the share status. So the next thing is we have the different sections here. So we have the company news, world news, helpful tips, links. All of these can be or all of the content can be added through a communications admin application. So I'll be showing it to you after I show you the user application. So first, let's start with the company news. So for the company news, all of the news or all of the selected news by the company can be shared to your users via this application. So just to read more, you can just click on read more, and then it will show you the content of your news. Then for the world news, this is actually an RSS field. So you can set up any RSS feed. So right now I am connected to WHO organization. So if you click read more, it will redirect you to the WHO website containing the article that is included in the application. So let's try that. So this is the article from who? The helpful tips, the links, emergency contacts, as mentioned, can be edited via the admin application. So you can also, so your organization can actually display any information from here. Then the make a request section, this is where your employees can request for anything. For example, have they want to request to have a content added in the company news, or they want to have a link added, or any other request that they have, um, they can actually send here. So an email will be sent out to the admin, and also a chat or an update will be sent out to the Teams application or the to the teams where the user belongs to. So let's try to, let's say I don't want to see the links. Just for example, submit. All right. So once you do that, you will see that this is my admin, by the way. So you will see that the email has been sent to the admin, and also a post or a chat is also added here in the crisis communication teams where we are included. So I don't want to see the links. All right. The next thing that I will be showing is the crisis communications admin app. So this is the crisis communications admin app. So we have the different sections as well. So the admin settings, and we have the sections to add the content to for the company news, the links, the tips, FAQs, or the emergency contacts or settings. So the admin settings contains all the customization or whatever that you want to change for that includes uh, uh, sorry. All right. So that includes the admin email. So just set up the admin email from here. So I've used my trial environment. And then you can also set the logo URL. You can also set the Azure AD group to use, and the op URL, or your crisis communication op URL, you can set it up here. And this is what is included in our world news earlier, the RSS feed. So right now I'm connected to World Health Organization feeds. So I just included the XML in this link. So the notification method, you can actually select either an email or Teams notification or push notification as your notification for this for the changes on the crisis communications. So for example, you want the request or the updates on the news be pushed to a mobile application or to the tablet application, you can select push notification. Or if you want to get an email, you can select the email instead of the Teams notification. But for now, let's leave it as is. The feature flags, these actually are the contents or the sections that I've shown earlier. So we have the company news, world news, helpful tips, links, emergency contacts, and make a request. So if in case you want to hide a section from your user, you can actually remove it here. You can actually hide it from here. So let's say I don't want them to see my company news. So let's turn that off. If Then let's go back to the crisis communication app and refresh. All right. So the company news has been removed. So let's just bring it back first. All right. So the next section that I'll be showing is, for example, I want to modify the company contacts or the emergency contacts that we have here. So let's say I want to add a new contact. So just create new contact, and then let's add the name, email. So, so the deprecated button here, actually, if you want to, for example, you already have a content available for your users and you want to remove it from their view, so you can actually toggle this to on, and then the user won't be able to see the content that you've created. So for example, let's just create this one first, and then we'll hide it later on. So let's click on save first. Okay, so we've already added a test contact. So let's see if I don't need to refresh, but let me try that first. Yeah, okay. So the test name that we've added earlier is already shown here. So let's try to remove this one. So let's say I don't want my user to see this. So just toggle this deprecated to on, then click on save. That should be that should remove the test name that we just created earlier. So let's wait until it's refreshed. So let's go to emergency contacts, and then sorry, let me just check this. Yeah, let me just refresh again. Sorry for that. Okay, let me try first in the company news. I'm not sure what's happening here, but let's try again using the company news. It's the same. So let's try to, I mean, the functionality is the same. So let's try to add a test here. Test. Not sure if it's my network, but let's try it again. So let's go to company news and verify that the test that I created first is shown here. So while we're waiting, let me just show you the other sections here. So we also have the helpful tips, the links, and the FAQ. So it's similar to the other section. So if your organization wants to add an additional content or wants to display an additional content to their application, you can just easily do it in the crisis communications admin. So I'm sorry I'm having some connections issues right now, but basically, that's how the admin application works. So as you can see, it's in here. The links are here. So to create link, just create new link and then click on save as well. So let's see if it's already loaded. All right. So we have the test, the one that I created earlier. So let's go back to the company news and let's try to test the deprecated button. So let's toggle this to yes and click on save. And let's refresh this again. All right, so it's already removed. So I'm not sure what happened to the emergency contacts earlier, but basically that should remove the deprecated function should remove the content from your application. So let's move back to the slide. So for further information, you can just use the reference here, or you can search through the Microsoft documentations as well regarding Power Apps or Power Platform. All right, so thank you for your time. If you have questions, so let's check it. Let me just stop. Do you have any questions? Yeah, it's already published. So I think all the questions are responded. Uh,
Hi, Rose. I think you can answer about two more questions before we end the session. Maybe expound it a
uh,
little bit more. We also have here Richard Robles from your team, who's also going to help you with the questions.
all right. So let's start with the first one. So is it okay to use Accenture email to register an account in Microsoft Power Platform? So yes, any valid emails will do. You can use company email, or you can actually use school emails as well if you have one. So is it better to create applications using the low code, no code approach instead of the usual programming approach wherein most of the functions are coded? So yeah, so as mentioned earlier, so we have provided some benefits for the low code, no code approach. So it's easier actually, and also less effort, less time, and less cost for the project as well. So prerequisite skills that are required for Power Apps. So as mentioned as well, so you do not need to have any coding skills. So if you are a student or any person that who wants to learn Power Apps, they can easily navigate through the application, and they can actually look into the Microsoft documentations as well. So it's very useful, and you can learn from there and just navigate through the application. All right. All right. I think we're good. So so we'd love to hear your feedback on tonight's session. So please go to menti.com and use the code 946236 to answer our short survey. So thank you for your time tonight, and apologies again for my slow connection. So thank you.